Although window pulls for interior real estate photography can get you clearer views to the outside, you will have problems sometimes with side-by-side windows because they'll often have varying exposure, color, and contrast. This happens a lot when you have screens in one side but not the other window. This can also happen too if you have one window that becomes open and it overlaps with one of the closed windows. So in this episode, I'm going to show you not only how to do window pulls, but also how to quickly and easily fix these problems between side-by-side windows so you can quickly and easily change the exposure, color, and contrast to match both sides. I'm also then going to show you some bonus footage along the way, some tips and tricks, including one near the end where you can recover blown out highlights, for instance, like on this flooring, that we're going to bring back more to its natural order. We'll use this image as an example, and so far I've done some flambient blending. If we take a look at just the flash shot, it's pretty easy to see that we've got a big difference in exposure between these two windows when we're looking to the outside. So need to correct that, and when we add the flambient blending to it, well, we get that natural light look, but it's also then blowing out more of this, and that's where our window pulls come in. Now, if you're not familiar with the flambient technique and also some of the window pull steps that I'm going to show here, I do cover this step-by-step in my Pro Interiors course, and I've got a link to all of my courses and books down in the description for this video. But the next step we would do is to do a darken mode window pull, and that's where, in this case, I directed the flash directly to the window, and then I can use this in darken mode. So if I were to take this and let's say just put this into darken mode, and I'm going to add a layer mask to it. There's a lot of ways to do this. In this case, I'll just Alt-click on this icon down here. You can do Option-click if you're on a Mac, and that gave us then a hide all layer mask. So I could take, for instance, since it's a darken mode window pull, I can get real sloppy with it. I can take the polygon lasso tool, which I selected up here, and I can draw anywhere around, for instance, this window frame. I can overlap onto this chair, wherever I need to, close that, and I'll just do Alt-delete or Option-delete if I was on a Mac. And you can see that that definitely brought in this view over here, but it didn't really do much for this side over here, and that's because the left side over here has a screen. If we zoom in here, we can definitely see the screen. It's already causing some moire. So let's go back out here and let's take a look at addressing this particular issue first, but there's going to be a few other steps to really make this match. So right now, I'm just going to deselect this. So I'll just do Control-D or Command-D on a Mac. The next step that you really should do when you see this much exposure difference between side-by-side windows is to take another window pull shot, which I did here, but this used a lower exposure. For instance, taking a look at the first window pull, we can see that this was shot up here at ISO 250, and I was using 200th of a second f8. When we go though to this image here, that was done at ISO 160. And then 200th of a second. So I dropped the ISO on this. Now that gets us a good starting point. It's not our finished method here, but the next step is to put this in. So back in Photoshop, I would take that image and do the same thing again, where I would turn that into darken blending mode. I would then hide everything with a mask. And then with my polygon tool this time, I only want to then draw around the frame of this window. So once again, I can get real sloppy, but I don't want to touch the other pane. So I go up here and then I'll do Alt-delete or Option-delete if you're on a Mac, and then I'll do Control-D to deselect that. So we're already looking better, but we're not quite there. One simple thing to look at is that we have a little bit of reflection coming in here. Now, I really wouldn't mind this reflection here, and some of this is inevitable. But what you do is after taking window pulls is that you would then turn the flash off and take another shot. And you can see this got rid of that reflection. So what I can do now is I can go in here, zoom in, and I'll just select really close here to the edge here. But I'm going to add a layer mask to hide everything, just like we did before. And then I'll take the polygon and kind of just get close here. And I'm not going to cut everything in. I'm going to use a brush at a low flow, about 30%, and then I can brush this in, which will then give it a better feathering effect. I'll do Control-D to deselect. So this is with that repair, this is without it. So that's just a very minor adjustment. But the real adjustment here to really fix this is where things really get interesting. First, I would just like to note that I know this isn't necessarily the most ideal composition to work with because this was a very tight bedroom. If we take a look at the other angles here, we can see that we're shooting the bedroom. We can see somewhat of the view through the window, but we're not getting a real clear view. When I step out onto the patio, I get some beautiful views of where this condo was, overlooking all of Ventura. We can see the ocean. We can see the Channel Islands in the distance. But when we come back here, this is where I'm trying to show a little bit more of the relativity of where the views start and where they end. So yes, we do have a bedpost in here, and I really can't remove that. Technically I could, but legally I really shouldn't. So in this case, this is what we're up against. So the next thing though is to try to match these skies, because if you were to look at this in real life, they would probably look fairly even, especially between the color. That's something because of our color constancy. So this type of adjustment is very well within the limits of most MLS regulations and truth in advertising laws, because we're just changing some of the exposure. Anyways, let's get into it. First, what we're going to do is select this layer, not the mask. We want to select the layer. The next thing we want to do, and we'll zoom in so we can get a little bit of a better view, is we want to select the quick selection tool, but we want to go up here and select object selection, not just quick selection, but object selection. We want to make sure that we have it on add. We want to make sure that we're using lasso. Also want to make sure when you're using this little cog wheel up here, make sure that you have these other things just unchecked. And this will then turn off this automatic object detection, which can just take a lot of resources. So with that though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick selection around this area. I'm just going to do it sloppy because it's pretty good. I'm going to try to get the mountain, but I don't think it'll probably get in right away. But when I release that lasso, it does a pretty good job of selecting the sky, and it even selected around a little bit of overlapping leaves here from the houseplant. Now I want to include this mountain also, so to do that, I'm in add, remember, we selected that at the top, so I'm going to draw another lasso and that should add that in. So that gives us a good start. Now let's zoom back out. The next thing I want to do is add a curves layer, and this will help with some of the exposure and some of the contrast, and then we're going to address color next. So what we'll do is we'll go up to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Curves layer, and you could name it whatever you'd like. Now what I'll do is I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit more of what's going on here. What you want to do is make sure you have this little guy selected here, that little finger icon. That'll really help in cases like this. It's usually selected by default. Then what you can do is, comparing side by side on these exposures, you want to click here where the predominant color is, and when you do, and you just move this down, it'll automatically then drop the curves. You notice over here in the dialog that the curve is dropping based on where I am selecting here in the image. So that gets us a pretty good start, and we can always adjust that later if we need to. So far so good. We're getting a good exposure. We can see there's a big color difference though. So this gets us a good exposure with also some contrast. This is on a mask, so if it's a little too much, you could take an eraser, for instance, at maybe a 30% flow. You could erase some of that out of there so that it blends a little bit nicer. Okay, now let's address the color issue. I'm going to select the layer. I'm not going to select the layer mask. I'm going to select the layer that we're just working on. And I'm going to do another quick selection. And I'm going to do that with the object selection tool. And I'm going to go around the sky in here. Now I don't have to get too exact. This is really good at detecting a lot of objects and spaces. And sure enough, it did. Now to once again grab the mountain, I just have to add that. And that once again is why we have add selected when we're using this object selection tool. Now what we want to do is add a color fill layer that's going to match this. So what we want to do is go up to Layer, New Fill Layer, Solid Color. And then the mode needs to be in color. Once we click OK, we're going to get this color selection tool. And from here then, we want to select a color in the sky over here on the side. Now you can see if I go too low here, it's going to turn it gray. So we want to get something that kind of matches and gets us a good blend. Now that's okay, we can say okay at this point. Let's zoom back out, get a better view of it overall. We can see then by turning this on and off if we got the color correction that we wanted. And we did. If it went too heavy-handed, you could change the opacity of the layer, or you could double-click on the color swatch and you could adjust that as well. At this point too, we could go back to our curve's properties by going to the layer, double-clicking on it, which will then bring up our curves adjustment. And then from here, we could even manually adjust the curve. And usually these are very minor steps. You can see just a little bit made a difference. If I go to the history to show before and then after, just that little minor adjustment made a difference. Okay, so let's say that that looks good. So far, so good, but we still have a couple things to deal with. But let's address this area down here that's very blown out. Let's zoom in here and we can see this is very heavy. Now, I could adjust the amount of ambient luminance, and you can see here that would bring some of that back. But let's say that we needed to adjust it like this to make it look more natural. So instead of making it look flashy, this is what I would do. Leaving that ambient luminance in there, what I'm going to do is go up to the very top, and then I'm going to select, once again, that object selection tool, like a quick selection. What I'm going to do now is it's mostly in this bright area. So I'm going to try to select all this. We'll see what kind of a job is done here by Photoshop detecting that bright area. And it did a pretty good job, but it left out this area here, which we really needed. So once again, we're in add mode, so I can just add that in there, and it detected that, which is good. If I needed to, I could also select that. But let's say that this is all that we needed for now. Once again, this will be on an adjustment layer and it will have a mask and give us a lot of flexibility. So the next thing is we'll go up to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Brightness and Contrast Layer. Name it whatever you'd like. Now what I'll do, I'll zoom in just a little bit so we can really see what's going on. And I'm going to now drop the brightness of this layer. And you can see we're starting to bring back those highlights. Now there's a couple issues here that we'll resolve. One that you can see right off the bat, it's a little bit darker here, but that's also because of that panel, but we'll fix that easily enough. The other thing is that you can see that we've got this rough edge, and that was from using the selection tool. An easy way to fix that is on the Properties dialog for this brightness and contrast layer, go to this icon, which is about the mask. We have a feathering option here, and what we can do is bring that slider to the right, and you'll see that starts to feather it in. So that's much better than where it was when we first started. So this is where we started, and we'll just bring that up a little bit, and that gets us some nice feathering. So it pretty much gets rid of that. Now the next thing is we can then decide where else we'd like to have this adjustment or where it's too much. So this is where you would take, for instance, like a brush, maybe at about a 30% flow, and you can tap in a little bit. You could also take an eraser, also at a 30% flow. You could erase some of this out of there as well, wherever you thought that it was too much or too little. So when we zoom out here and take a close look, you can see this is with it, that's without it. So we were able to recover a whole lot of detail in this rug and also on the flooring. And I would like to mention too that all the adjustments that we did here, they are in compliance with AB 723. And if you're not familiar with that, that's a new law going into effect in 2026 that's starting in California. California's Assembly Bill 723, which heavily restricts how you can do certain edits that might misrepresent a property. So if you need more information on that, I have another video also down in the description that covers that. But essentially, that bill is really made for changing views. If I change the view to the outside completely, that would be a violation. It would be a misdemeanor offense if I didn't disclose it. In this case, all we're doing is adjusting some of the brightness, the contrast, and a little bit of the color. Simple adjustments that are exemptions in AB 723. So let's quickly recap what we did and how we stayed compliant as well. So we started out here at the bottom. Here is my flash shot. And then I took an ambient shot and I turned it into a flambient blend with luminosity blending mode. In this case, I used 40% opacity and didn't use a layer mask. Then we did a darken mode window pull, but it wasn't enough to really capture this other side. So the next thing I did, we added another window pull, another exposure, by lowering the ISO on the camera and then flashing again. There was a little bit of a repair layer here just to get rid of a reflection that was on the side, could have even been overlooked. But the biggest thing we did was change some of the exposure and contrast by adding this curves and adjustment layer, which once again, if it's too much, you can adjust it, you can erase off the mask, you can even change its opacity, which right now is at 100%. Then, to get both sides to match in their color, we added a simple color fill layer. And then, to bring back the exposure down here on the floor, we just used a brightness and contrast layer with some special masking, some special feathering, and a slight adjustment. Now this hasn't gone through all of the final prep, but once we do and we apply our final post-processing preset, this is the final image.